The villa at dusk. My car headlights were shining on the old iron bars and thick stone pillars on either side. It looked deserted from the outside, but I could see some warm lights in the windows. The place had been converted into a guest house and I had arranged to stay for a few days. I was planning to write a book about old buildings and I was curious about the rumors surrounding this particular place. People said that sometimes they heard voices in the walls and felt strangely cold in the hallways. I didn't know if it was true, but I wanted to see everything for myself. I was ready to unpack, settle in and start exploring inside. The lobby was dark. The reception was a small desk with a ledger, an old-fashioned telephone and a brass bell. The manager looked tired. He gave me a quick briefing on the house. No smoking inside. Meals were served in the morning and evening and no wandering around in some certain area of the villa where the wooden floors are weak. He gives me an old key with a large oval key chain. I notice it has a strange carved symbol on one side, but I don't ask about it. I concentrate on getting to my room and getting some rest. I climb a wide staircase with faded portraits hanging. The eyes in those portraits seem to follow me as I go up. The stairs creak under my weight and the air smells of dust and old varnish. At the end of the hallway I find my door. The hallway seems a bit quiet, as if I am the only one there. I insert the key and hear a loud click as I enter the room. It feels cold. The window is closed, but it doesn't seem to hold the cold. I turn on the light switch and a single lamp by the side. The bed is lit up. The bed looks sturdy with a tall wooden headboard and there is a small table in the corner of the room. I put my bag on the floor and close the door behind me. I decide to take a quick walk around the house before settling in. The manager said dinner would be ready at 7 and I had about an hour to look around. I left the room, locked the door and walked back down the hallway. I passed a few other doors, all closed. I heard no voices, no footsteps. My shoes echoed on the floor. As I reached a side hallway I noticed a door slightly open. I looked inside. It was a living room with old furniture, a fireplace and shelves full of dusty books. A single overhead light was on, illuminating the chairs. I walked in and looked around. The air felt stagnant and I smelled a slight musty smell like wet paper. I spotted a set of letters on a small coffee table that looked old, so I picked them up. The envelopes were yellowing and the ink on the address was fading. I wanted to read them, but I thought they might belong to the house records. I put them down and made a mental note to ask the manager about them. Then I heard a soft creak behind me. I turned around, but no one was there. A few minutes later I found the dining room empty with a large wooden table and a row of chairs. The table had a matte finish and the lighting was dim. I could smell something cooking from the kitchen, probably soup or stew. I felt my stomach growl, so I decided to wait there for dinner. As I stood by the window I looked out at the dark garden. The tall hedges and spiral trees stood like shadows in the distance. My phone vibrated in my pocket, but there was no signal. I swore under my breath. Maybe it was a glitch or just this old building messing with my computer. After dinner was a simple meal of soup, bread, and some vegetables. I went back to my room. The manager told me I could wander around the hall if I wanted, but he advised me not to go down to the basement or the west wing. He said those areas were being renovated and were unsafe. I thanked him and climbed the stairs again. This time the hallway felt different. The lights were flickering a little and I could hear the buzzing. Weak. I think it might be the old wiring or the wind outside. I reach the door and go inside. The cold is still in the room. I close the door, change into more comfortable clothes and sit at the small desk to write some notes about my impressions of the villa so far. That's when I hear the first whisper. It sounds like someone calling my name very softly. Stiff in the dark, Daniel. I freeze, the pen hovering over the paper. I turn around but see nothing but the old wallpaper on the bed behind me. My heart starts to beat fast. I get up and check the hallway, but it's empty. I shake my head thinking maybe I'm just tired. I lock the door. The door opens again and I go back to my desk. I take a few deep breaths and start writing about the layout of the villa, my dinner, and the strange feeling in the living room. Handwriting. See.